if you have a binary system, now what we can do with it? So can we do arithmetic operations? Okay, arithmetic operations, namely addition, subtraction, etc. How we can do with the binary numbers? Okay, so addition and subtraction using binary numbers. Okay, so let us take some example. So we have a 0 1 0 1 1, and then we would like to add it with 1 1 0 1 0 0 0. So these are the two binary numbers that we have. We have to add them. So what we do, just like we do it in the decimal system, we just start with the rightmost bit. This particular bit have a name. This particular bit has a name called LSB. LSB stands for least significant bit. Okay, least significant bit. And similarly, the rightmost one is called MSB, which is most significant bit. Okay, that means the place value here is much greater compared to, say, a 1 here and a 1 here. They don't have same value. The least value is for the rightmost position. Okay, so that is why they have the name LSB and MSB. Okay, so now so we start our addition operation from the LSB. So what we do, we add bit by bit. So 1 plus 0, so that is 1, 1 plus 0 again 1, 0 plus 0, so that is 0. Now 1 plus 1, it is actually 1 0. Okay, 1 plus 1 is 2, but 2 in binary is 1 0. So what do you do? We keep 0 here and take a carry here, and then again we have 1 plus 1, so that is again 1 0. We have a carry here. Again you have 1 plus 1, that is 0 with a carry here, and then we have 1 plus 1 plus 1. So that is like 3, and 3 in binary is 1 1. So you have a carry here finally. So this is the final carry, and altogether that is the result. So that's exactly the same way we do with and you can check the corresponding decimal number and see whether the answer is correct or not. Okay, let's take a case of subtraction. So let's take minus then okay, so this is a subtraction. So binary addition, so this is binary addition, and this is binary subtraction. So let's start again. So 1 minus 1, so that is, if there is 1 and you want to take away 1, and then you have a 0 left, there is a 0 and you want to take away 0, that is also 0. Now we have a 0 here, that means nothing is there to take away, but we want to take away 1. So what is the procedure that we do in decimal number subtraction? Same procedure we have to do here also. We have to borrow from the previous place. So if you want to borrow from the previous place, keep in mind that these positions are not ones, tens, hundreds or anything like that. They are basically ones, twos, fours and eights and 16s. Okay, so that is what we should keep in mind. So therefore when you borrow from the previous place, we are taking from the higher position, which is multiplied by a factor of 2, not by a factor of 10. So this is a place for 4s, and there is no 4 here, and we want to take away 1 4, so we will go to the position of 8 and bring an 8 here, and then from 8 we take 1 4 away. That's what we do. And from 8, when we take 4 away, we have a 1 4 left. Okay, so here, so if I do this, this will become 0, and here it will become 1 0. So 1 0 in this position means it is 8. Okay, so another way you can look at it is that this corresponds to the position of 8, this is the correspond to position of 4, this is 2, and this is 1. This is the the position value, and this is basically 16. So here we did not have anything, so we are basically taking 8 from here and bringing it here. So that is like 2 4s, 2 into 8, you can write it as 2 into 4, and then you have to subtract from it 1 4. Okay, and then you will have 1 4 left. Okay, so that is basically a 1 in this position. 1 in this position is equal to place value 4. Okay, so or in other words, you can just simply think about it like it is 1 0 minus 1. So when you take carry or borrow from the previous place, so here it will become 1 0, and 1 0 minus 1 is basically 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So that way also you can, but if you want to understand it more conceptually, you have to see the position. Okay, and the position is 1's position, 2 position, 4's position, 8's position, 16's position. So if you are borrowing from 8's position to 4's position, you are basically having 2 4s, and then you can take away 1 4, and 1 4 will be left. And okay, so now you have 0 here, and again you need to take away 1. It is not possible, so you need to take away 8, but nothing is left here. So you go to the 16 and bring 1 16 here, that is 2 8s. So from 2 8s you can take away 1 8, and so that will give you 1 8 left. And here now nothing is left, so this is the answer. So now let's check whether this answer is correct or not. So this is basically 16 plus 16 plus 9, so that is 25, and this one is basically 8 plus 5, 13, right? So 5 minus 3, so that is going to be 2, and 2 minus 1, that is 12. Okay. And you can see that this is basically 8 plus 4, that is 12. So in decimal we can verify that this result that we get is correct. Okay. So that is basically binary subtraction. Okay, so we can use the carry concept. If you have a 2-digit, when you add the two numbers in a particular position, you can carry it over to the next position and then add it along with that. Okay, but in subtraction we have the concept of borrow, and it is exactly the same way. The principle is exactly the same as it in the decimal subtraction. Okay, so this way you can do the mathematical operation. Okay, and now how about negative numbers? So far we only talked about positive numbers. Okay, but we also need to consider, in order to make our discussion complete, you also need to have some ways of representing the negative numbers. So let us look at how to represent negative numbers. Representation of negative numbers in binary system. So how to represent negative numbers? There are at least 3 ways in which you can represent negative numbers. Thus, the common way we represent negative numbers in decimal system is basically to use a plus or minus symbol. If it is a positive number, we usually don't put any sign, but it is assumed that if it is not, if you write something like 134, it is a positive number. But if you want to specify that this is a negative number, then we will write 134 with a minus sign. So this minus sign, this is an additional symbol. We only have a 10 digit in the decimal system, but we need to use one more symbol, 11th symbol, in order to represent the sign of the number. So that is how we do it. And then we can do arithmetic with the numbers that include negative numbers. Okay. Now the common way to perform addition or subtraction with negative numbers is, you can have different cases. You can have so if A and B were two numbers, A could be a positive number or B could be a positive number, then I can do A plus B and I can do A minus B. Okay. And then another thing we can do is I can have two negative numbers, minus A then plus minus B. This I can do, okay, which is basically minus A minus B. This is another, so if you have two negative numbers and you are adding them, so you will do that. Here it is two positive numbers and you are adding them. So here you have two negative numbers, you are adding them, and then minus A plus B. So these are the various things that you can do if you have negative numbers. So here A and B, I am assuming it as positive, but when you have a negative sign there, it is basically made to negative. Okay, so then relatively you can have different cases that comes out. So these are different ways you can do arithmetic operation. Now how do we do this kind of operations? What we do usually is that when you want to add or subtract negative and positive numbers, what we usually do is basically see whether which number is larger. If both have same sign, then what we do is basically you just add them, and then for example, in the first two cases, this is this case 1 and this is case 2. In these two cases, both have same sign. A has same sign, B has same sign. They are positive. Here A and B both have same sign, but they have a negative sign each. So you can do one thing. You can write like this. So you add them and then put the sign of the number. Okay. So if both has same sign, then this is what we do. We add the number and then put the sign. Here the sign is positive, so you just add the number. Here the sign is negative, so you add the number and put the negative sign. Now what about A minus B or minus A plus B? So how do we do in case 3 and 4? What we usually do is basically we look at which has a larger magnitude. If A has larger magnitude, then what we do is we do A minus B. Okay, you get a positive number and that is the answer. But if B has larger magnitude, we do B minus A and then put the sign of the bigger number. Okay, so you subtract from a smaller number from the bigger number and put the sign of the bigger number. So that's how we solve such problems. Okay, now this is okay as long as we are doing it ourselves, but how can we make the computers do it? So that is a concern when we try to implement arithmetic operation using say digital systems. So it is not efficient to do the manual method by whenever we try to make the computers do this arithmetic using signed numbers. The reason is because you need a comparator first of all to find out whether A is larger or B is larger, and then so that itself will create a larger circuit digital circuit, we will see later how to design a comparator to find out which number is larger. If you have two numbers, say 4 bits each, then to find out which one of them is larger, then we need a comparator, and comparator will require many gates in order to implement them. And then we again require another circuit to perform this addition and subtraction. So that is an additional circuit. So comparator circuit, then additional circuit for performing subtraction or addition. And performing subtraction, as you saw, you need to take the carry, you need to borrow from the position on the left and then bring it to the current position and then take away. So all these are a little bit complicated. It becomes complicated when you try to implement using a digital computer. So therefore this way of representing negative number becomes inconvenient when you try to work with or when you try to make the machines or the computers do the arithmetic operation. So alternatively, people thought about what is the other way we can improve the efficiency of arithmetic operation, which includes negative numbers. So that's what we are going to look at. Okay, so what is the alternative? Okay, so first of all, how to represent negative numbers in binary form as well as in decimal form. So there are three ways in which you can do that. So number one, okay, so negative number representation in decimal system. Okay, so the number one, whatever I have shown here, that has a name to it, that is keeping a sign attached to the number, that has a name to it. This is called sign magnitude form. Okay, so if you have so in sign magnitude form, what we have a specific symbol to signify whether the number is positive or negative apart from the magnitude. So magnitude is one thing and sign is a separate thing. Okay, for example, you have plus 12 and minus 12. Okay, so this 12 is basically the magnitude, and plus or minus, that is basically the sign. So that is basically the sign magnitude form. Then the second way of representing is basically called nines complement. I think it is complement form. Nines complement form. So nines complement form, this may not be very familiar to you. This is an alternate way in which you can represent negative numbers. Suppose we have only 2 digits. Okay, so with 2 digits we can represent numbers starting from 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. It goes on. Then you have 48, 49, 50, 51. Okay, it continues to go on up to say 98, 99. So this is the range of numbers that you can have with just 2 digit decimals, right? So now how do we represent negative numbers in nines complement form? What we do is that the first half we dedicate to represent the negative numbers, positive numbers. The first half we dedicate to represent the positive numbers. That is, first half means we can demarcate it somewhere here. Okay, 0 to 49. So this will be allotted for positive numbers. These are all positive numbers. And then we say that the second half we will dedicate for representing negative numbers. So in other words, 50 is not plus 50. Okay, in 9's complement form, 50 actually correspond to minus 49. So let me write it. So 50 actually signifies minus 49. So in sign magnitude form, 50 means minus 49. And then what about 51? 51 is basically minus 48. So like that it goes, and finally what will happen? So this will be minus 0, 1, and this will be minus 0, 0. So the basic idea is splitting the entire possibility into two halves, and the first half, the lower values are dedicated to represent the positive numbers, and the second half, that is starting from 50 in this case, if it is only 2 digits. If it is 3 digits, then we know that we can go up to 999, and the first half necessarily means 499, right? Right, 499, and then 500 to 999 it will be the second half. Okay, so the magnitude is only from magnitude of these numbers is only up to 49. With 2 digits it is only up to 49, and the sign can be either positive or negative. So this is the mapping which I have shown here. So all of these are like same as plus 0, 0, plus 0, 1, plus 0, 2, etc., and then plus 48, plus 49. But then after plus 49 comes minus 49, minus 48, like that. So this is the if you want to convert the 9's complement form into sign magnitude form, you need to know what is the mapping. Okay, so this is one way you can represent negative numbers. So basically we split and then we have a mapping here. Another way we can do is basically called 10's complement form. 10's complement. 10's complement form. Now in 10's complement form, what we can do? If I take the same range from 00 to 99, again I will use half of them for representing negative numbers. So I don't require one advantage is that I don't require an additional symbol here. I am using the same 10 symbols 0 to 9 to represent both positive and negative numbers. Okay, so let me write down. These are our numbers, and then you have 48, 49, 50, 51, and continues on to 98, 90. Okay, so these are the same 2-digit numbers that are possible. Again we split it into half. Okay, 0 to 49 the first 50, 50 to 99 the second 50. So this is the halfway, and then the positive numbers exactly the same, no difference. Okay, so if I write the positive number, the mapping is exactly the same. I have plus 0, 0, plus 0, 1, plus 0, 2, and I continue plus 48, plus 49. So no difference here. The difference comes in the rest, that is for the negative numbers. If you look at the previous case, you can see that there is a plus 0 and a minus 0, which doesn't make much sense, because 0 is 0. It is neither positive nor negative. So why to waste one case case which doesn't have even a sign? Why to allocate 2 numbers for that? So that's basically the idea here. So what we do is, instead of that, we start with minus 48, and then this should be minus 50. Okay, so instead of minus 49 like previously, now I would say that I will say this is minus 50. Okay, and this is minus 49, and then it continues. So if you go like this, this is going to be minus 2 and minus 1. Okay, so there is a difference by 1. So earlier it was 49, 48, minus 49, minus 48 like that. So now it is minus 50, minus 49, etc. And since there are only 50 combinations here, or 50 cases here, so from 50 to minus 50 to minus 1. Okay, so that's another alternate way you can look at is that if you compare it with the number line, so if you extend here to the left the number line, so you have minus 01, then minus 02, minus etc, etc, and it goes to minus 49, minus 50. So this is the number line. So what essentially we are doing is that we are taking this and then put those here. Okay, so that is this. So entirely we are taking that part and putting it here on the right side. So that is the mapping. So if you want to remember this way, you can remember. This is just for for you to remember. So if you consider the number line, the 50 numbers which comes before 0, we are taking and assigning to or mapping it to the numbers which are on the second half. So this is called the tens complement form. Now mathematically you can talk about nines complement form and tens complement form in a more mathematical way. You can talk about it. For example, if you look at nines complement form, mathematically what we are doing is basically, so here we considered 2 digits. So if I consider 2 digit, I can say that to find the nines complement form, what we need to do is we need to perform an operation which is basically 10 raised to 2. So here 2 stands for the number of digits. 10 raised to 2 minus 1 minus the number. Okay, so this is basically giving you the nines complement of n. Nines complement, let me write nines complement of n. Nines complement of a number n, where n is basically a 2-digit number. Its nines complement is given by this. Okay, this mathematical operation, where 2 is standing for the number of digits. So nines complement of n is given by 10 square. So if you are thinking about 3 digit, you can write so this is for nines complement of n, where 2 is the number of digits. Okay, so here we assume that the number n is somewhere between 0 to 49. The number n is somewhere between 0 to 49. So when you want to represent a number like say minus 48 or something like that, so you just need to perform this operation. So as you can see that this can also be written as 10 square is 100 and minus 1 means it is 99 minus 8. Okay, so minus -48. In sign magnitude form, what we call as -48. In 9's complement form, what we need to do is basically 99 minus 48. This is what we have to do. So 9 minus 8, that is 1. And then 9 minus 4, that is 5. So 51 is what we need to do. So minus 48 is basically represented as, in 9's complement form, it is represented as 51. So you can just see whether it is correct or not. So this is minus 48 is basically 51. So this is the mathematical way we can look at it. All we are doing is subtracting that number from 99. Okay. Now we can generalize it to n digit number. Therefore 9's complement for of an n digit number, representation of an n digit number n is what? It is equal to 10 raised to n minus 1 minus n. That's what we have to do. So that will give you the 9's complement. Now if a number is given, if you want to check whether which negative number, that is like, so here we have gone from sign magnitude to 9's complement. So this is the conversion that we have done, and the formula is this. Now a number is given, say 51 is given, and we want to convert that into sign magnitude form. How do we do that? So it is told that 51 is in 9's complement form. Okay. How to convert that into sign magnitude? What is the corresponding sign magnitude form of this number? So what we do, you take one more 9's complement. So that's all what we need to do, and put the sign. So what we do, so 99 minus 51. So 9 minus 1, so that is 8. 9 minus 5, so that is 4. Okay, and then insert the sign. So that is minus 40. So you take 9's complement one more time, you will get the number or the magnitude in the sign magnitude form. So since it is a negative number, we put a minus sign, because you see that the number is above 49. So if it is above, second half is dedicated to negative numbers, we know, but we don't know which is the magnitude. So you take the 9's complement one more time, and you get the magnitude. So that's basically the reverse conversion. Now similar way you can represent the 10's complement form also. Okay. Now mathematically, representation of 10's complement. As you have seen from the mapping which I have shown earlier with 2-digit numbers, so you will get some idea how to write it, since already you have seen for 9's complement. So what we do, so if a sign magnitude representation is given in as n, where n is a n-digit number, so given an n-digit decimal number, okay, n-digit decimal number, negative number, n-digit decimal number which is negative, then its 10's complement is what we need to do? 10 raised to n minus n. Okay, so earlier we have 10 raised to n minus 1 minus n. So 10 raised to 2 was 100 minus 1, that is 99. So 99 minus n. So here it is 100 minus n. So that's all, because we need to just increment the value by 1. So that's all what we need to. So if you take the same example of minus 48, so minus 48 you want to do. So what we need to do is basically do this 100 minus 48. Okay, but it is always easy whenever you have a subtraction like this, where the top number is always like 1000 or 10 raised to n in this format, then it is better to subtract from 99 and then add 1 to it. Okay, so this is same as basically 99. So 100 you can write it as 99 plus 1, right? So 99 minus 48, whatever we get, that is 51. Earlier we have done this, and then plus 1 to it, so that will give you 52. So 52 is basically minus 48 is represented by the number 52. Okay, so here I have not done. If I add one more number here, so 52, and then here it is minus 48. So minus 48, we have found the tens complement, it is 52. Now the advantage of 9's complement and 10's complement is when you try to implement it using machines, it has some kind of it has advantage. Okay, because okay, so what is the advantage? So let's look at a case where we have arithmetic operation using negative numbers. Then let's take an example. Example of arithmetic operation using 9's or 10's complement. Sign magnitude form, I already told you how to do. You have to, if different signs are involved while adding, so all subtraction you can think about adding with the negative number. So while adding two numbers, one with positive and one with negative sign, you have to first compare the numbers and find which one is larger, then subtract the smallest one from the largest one, and then put the sign of the larger number. So example of arithmetic operation using 9's and 10's complement representation. Okay, so let's take 25 minus say 11. So this is what we need to do. So since by sign magnitude form we know how to do it. So there are two numbers, so we are basically adding this. We say that it is 25 plus minus 11. Okay, so how do we do that? You look at which has larger magnitude. You know that it is 25 larger than 11, and then 25 minus 11, and put the sign which is positive of the bigger number. Now how do we do it in 9's complement? We represent the second number minus 11. We find out its say let's do it with the 9's complement, and then we will do it with the 10's complement. So this is almost like an algorithm. You have to just follow this algorithm using 9's complement. Using 9's complement. So 25 you write as such, and then you have to write minus 11 in 9's complement. So minus 11 in 9's complement is what? 99 minus 11. So that is 88, right? And then what you have to do? You have to add 88 with 25. So 88 is basically 9's complement. Okay. 88 is basically 9's complement of minus 11. So you find it out. So minus 11 is basically 88, and you are adding 25 plus minus 11, that is 25 plus 88. So then you just perform the addition as usual. So 8 plus 5, that is 13, carry, and then 8 plus 2, 10, and 11. So you get 3-digit number, and all you need to do here is take that carry. Okay, as I told, this is an algorithm. So this is the final carry, which is 1, and then bring it down and add to this the other 2 digits. So this will be plus with this 1 here. Okay, this 1 comes from here. If you have a carry, if the carry comes, then you have to add that carry with the other 2 digits. So 3 plus 1, so that will be 4, and then 1. So that is basically the answer of the problem. That's how you do it with the 9's complement subtraction. This is 9's complement subtraction. So we are basically implementing the subtraction by addition. Okay, we don't need to go and borrow or anything like that. If you had to do this in sign magnitude form, then you have to subtract the smaller number from the bigger number, and then all the complications. First you have to compare, and then you have to subtract. So both are really complicated thing, but all those complications are avoided here. We just need to follow an algorithm, and the algorithm, of course, it has a great relationship with what is actually going on. Okay, so which I will show you a little later. Now what will be the case using 10's complement? So let me so this is using 9's complement. Now let's also do it with using 10's complement. Using 10's complement. Okay, so same problem, but we need the 10's complement of 11. Okay, so what we need to do, you just do so minus 11 is basically, so you take the 9's complement, which is 88, and plus 1, so that will be 9's complement, that is 89. So 89 is basically minus 11 in 10's complement. So now what we have to do, same procedure, add the 10's complement to the original first number. Okay, so this is usually called as they have some names, probably you know, this is called minuend, and this is called the subtrahend. Okay, so minuend minus subtrahend. So now what we do, we take the 10's complement of minus 11, which is 89, and then basically add. So then we have 25 plus 89. So that will give you 4, and then carry 1, which is 11. And all we need to do here is just discard the carry that was created. Okay, just discard. The answer is already here. Discard the carry and you have the answer. So we have implemented. So these are two alternate ways, two algorithms. If you are using 9's complement, then add with the 9's complement. If carry occurs, you have to add that carry with the number. Whereas in 10's complement method, if the carry occurs, you just discard it. You don't need to do anything more. The 2-digit, you have the right answer in the 2-digit. Okay, so we know that 25 minus 11 is 14. So both are correct result. Okay, so let me try to explain what is going on here. So if you go back to the mapping which I showed in the beginning, then so what we are basically doing is we are adding 25 to 88. Okay, so 88 is basically minus 11, so that is somewhere here. Okay, so somewhere here we have 88 representing minus 11. So to that we are basically adding 25. So it will keep moving like this. The number will keep moving like this, and then so from 88, if you move to the right, you will first reach 99, right? So when you reach 99, you reach minus 0, and if you add one more, you basically go to 100. Okay, then it is basically 101, 102, etc. You move. So you have to go 25 steps from 88 to the right side. Okay, and when you take 11 steps, you exhaust the 2 digits. Okay, from 88, when you take 11 steps, because this is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, so 88 is where? 88 is corresponding to minus 11. Okay, so when you take 11 steps, you are basically reaching 99, and then anything additional. So how many you will take? 14 steps you have to take, right? Then only you can reach, you can take 25 steps altogether. So the 25 steps that you take from 88, you can break it into two blocks. First block is basically 11 steps, and then you have 14 steps. So it will be like 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So that correspond to basically the 14. So 114 you will reach after taking 25 steps. You will have 114. Okay, so that's what that's what happened here. Okay, so for 9's complement, you start with 88. So when you take 11 steps, you reach 99, and then you take 14 more steps. You need to take 15 more steps actually, so that is why you have this addition of 1 also involved here. But if you look at 10's complement form, so you will be standing, instead of 88, you will be standing 89. So when you take 11 steps, you will reach 100, and then from 100 you go 14 steps, you will reach 140. Okay, so when you discard the carry, you get the right number. So that is basically the relationship which we have here. Okay. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So, to discard the carry, sir.
Repeat the question.
So, why do we need to discard the carry, sir?
To get the right answer.
So, is there any kind of problem that is being associated with this answer, like in discarding this number?
No, this is the algorithm. So that is what I was trying to explain you. Okay, so for example, discarding the carry with 10's complement, you are adding basically 89 and 25. Okay, so 89 is where? 89 is here. So just here you have 89. This is 89. So if you need to add 25 to it, right? That's what you are doing here. To 89 you are adding 25. So you are standing at 89, adding 25. Now you can break it into two parts. Adding 25, you can break it into two parts. One is first part is basically adding 11 and then adding 14 to it. So when you add 11, what will happen? 89 plus 11, you will have 100, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you are adding 14, because 11 plus 14 is 25. So we are adding 25 to 89 means first you add 11, that is 100. Basically from 89 you take 25 steps rightward. That's what you are doing, right? When you add two numbers, you stand on one number and then move by the number of steps given by the second number. Okay, so you have to take 25 steps, but I am breaking it into two parts in order to just show you what is going on here. So when you take 11 steps, you reach 100, and then you take 14 more steps, you have 140. So you discard the one, you have the answer, because the 11 steps basically cancel the 88. 88 is representing minus 11.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, 89 is in tens complement, 89 is representing minus 11. So by adding 11, you cancel it, and then when you add the remaining part of 25, you reach the answer 40. So this is what is happening through the algorithm. So the algorithm is not just come out from somewhere, but it is actually coming out from this mapping here, which I have shown here. You are standing at 89, you are adding 25 to it, means you take 25 steps and then you reach 114. And why discarding carry will give you the right answer? Because because it has already cancelled the 11. Okay, it has already cancelled. The remaining part is the answer. What we wanted to do is 25 minus 11. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that minus 11 is done when you added when you have taken 11 steps. The minus 11 is already done, and the remaining portion, that is 14, which is our answer, will come as 114. So you just discard the carry, you get the answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's take a break.